This is Chapter 9 of White Noise by DeLillio. This is on page 35 for those following along with the book. They had to evacuate the grade school on Tuesday. Kids were getting headaches and eye irritations, tasting metal in their mouths. A teacher rolled on the floor and spoke foreign languages. No one knew what was wrong. Investigators said it could be the ventilating system, or paint or varnishes, the foam installation, the electrical installation, the cafeteria food, the rays emitted by microcomputers, the asbestos fireproofing, the adhesive on shipping containers, the fumes from chlorinated pools, or perhaps something deeper, finer grained, more closely woven into the basic state of things. Denise and Steve stayed home that week as men in Mitelex suits and respiratory masks made systematic sweeps of the building with infrared detecting and measuring equipment. Because Mitelex is itself a suspect material, the results tended to be ambiguous, and a second round of more rigorous detection had to be scheduled. The two girls and Babette, Wilder, and I went to the supermarket. Minutes after we entered, we ran into Murray. This was the fourth or fifth time I've seen him in the supermarket, which was roughly the number of times I'd seen him on campus. He clutched Babette by the left bicep and slided around her, appearing to smell her hair. "A lovely dinner," he said, standing directly behind her. I like to cook myself, which doubles my appreciation of someone who does it well. "Come any time," she said, turning in an effort to find him. We moved together into the ultra-cool interior. Wilder sat in the shopping cart, trying to grab items off the shelves as we went by. It occurred to me that he was too old and too big to be sitting in supermarket carts. I also wondered why his vocabulary seemed to be stalled at 25 words. "I'm happy to be here," Murray said. In blacksmith, in the supermarket, in the rooming house on the hill. I feel I'm learning important things every day. Death, disease, afterlife, outer space. It's all much clearer here. I can think and see." We moved into the generic food area, and Murray paused with his plastic basket to probe among the white cartons and jars. I wasn't sure I understood what he was talking about. What did he mean? Much clearer? He could think and see what? Stifey took my hand, and we walked past the fruit bins, an area that extended about 45 yards along one wall. The bin was arranged diagonally and backed by mirrors that people accidentally punched when reaching for fruit in the upper rows. A voice on the loudspeaker said, "Kleenex, Sotify. Your truck's blocking the entrance." Apples and lemons tumbled in twos and threes to the floor when someone took fruit from a certain place in the stack's array. There were 6 kinds of apples. There were exotic melons and several pastils. Everything seemed to be in season, sprayed, burnished, bright. People tore flimsy bags off racks and tried to figure out which end opened. I realized the place was awash in noise. The toneless systems, the jingled and skids of the carts, the loudspeaker, the coffee-making machines, the cries of children, and over it all, or under it all, a dull and unlocatable roar as of some form of swarming life just outside the range of human apprehension. "Did you tell Denise you were sorry?" "Maybe later," Strifey said. "Remind me later. She's a sweet girl, and she wants to be your older sister and your friend, if you'll let her." "I don't know about friend. She's a little bossy, don't you think?" Aside from telling her you're sorry, be sure to give her back her physician's desk reference. She reads that thing all the time. Don't you think that's weird? At least she reads something. "Sure, list of drugs and medicines. And do you want to know why?" "Why?" "Because she's trying to find out the side effects of the stuff that Baba uses." "What does Baba use?" "Don't ask me, ask Denise." "How do you know she uses anything?" "Ask Denise." "Why don't I ask Baba?" "Ask Baba," she said. Murray came out of an aisle and walked alongside Babette. Just ahead of us, she took a twin roll of paper towels out of her cart and smelled it. Denise had found some friends, and they went up to look at the paperback books in spindly racks. The books with shiny metallic print, raised letters, vivid illustrations of Colt violence, and windswept romance. Denise was wearing a green visor, I heard Babette tell Murray she'd been wearing it 14 hours a day for 3 weeks now. She would not go out without it, would not even leave her room. She wore it in school, when there was school, wore it to the toilet, the dentist chair, the dinner table. Something about the visor seemed to speak to her, to offer her wholeness and identity. It's her interfaced with the world, Murray said. He helped Babette push her loaded cart. I heard him say to her, Tibetans believe there is a transitional state between death and rebirth. Death is a waiting period, basically. Soon a fresh womb will receive a soul. In the meantime, the soul restores itself some of the divinity lost at birth. He studied her profile as if to detect a recreation. That's what I think of whenever I come in here. This place recharges us spiritually. It prepares us. It's a gateway or pathway. Look how bright. It's full of psychic data. My wife smiled at him. Everything is concealed in symbolism, hidden by veils of mystery and layers of cultural material. But it is psychic data, absolutely. The large doors slide open. They close unbidden. Energy waves, incandescent radiation, all the letters and numbers here, all the colors of the spectrum, all the voices and sounds, all the code words and sacramental phrases. It is just a question of deciphering, rearranging, peeling off the layers of unspeakability. Now that we would want to, not that any useful purpose would be served. This is not Tibet. Even Tibet is not Tibet anymore. He studied her profile. She put some yogurt in her cart. Tibetans try to see death for what it is. It is the end of an attachment to things. This simple truth is hard to fathom, but once we stop denying death, we can proceed calmly to die, and then go on to experience uterine rebirth, or Judeo-Christian afterlife, or out-of-body experience, or a trip on a UFO, or whatever we wish to call it. We can do so with clear vision, without awe or terror. We don't have to cling to life artificially, or to death of that matter. We simply walk towards the sliding doors, waves and radiation, looking how well lit everything is. The place is sealed off, self-contaminated. It is timeless. Another reason why I think of Tibet. Dying as an art in Tibet. A priest walks in, sit down, tells the weeping relatives to get out, and has their room sealed. Doors, windows sealed. He has a serious business to see. Chants, numerology, horoscopes, re-incitations. Here we don't die, we shop. But the differences is less marked than you think. He was almost whispering now. I tried to get up close without ramming my car into Babette's. I wanted to hear everything. Supermarkets, this large and clean and modern, are a revelation to me. I spent my life in small, seamy, delicacences, I cannot pronounce that word, delicacences with slanted display cabinets full of trays that hold soft, wet, lumpy matter in pale colors, high enough cabinets so you had to stand on tiptoes to give your order, shouts, accents. In cities no one notices specific dying. Dying is a quality of the air. It's everywhere and nowhere. Men shout as they die, to be noticed, remembered for a second or two. To die in an apartment instead of a house can depress the soul. I would imagine for several lives to come. In a town there are houses, plants, and bay windows. People notice dying better. The dead have faces, automobiles. If you know a name, you know a street, a dog's name. You drove an orange Mazda. You know a couple of useless things about a person that become major facts of identification in cosmic placement when he dies, suddenly after a short illness in his own bed, with a comforter and matching pillows on a rainy Wednesday afternoon, feverish, a little congested in the sinuses and chest, thinking about his dry cleaning. Babette said, "Where is Wilder?" and turned to stare at me in a way that suggests 10 minutes had passed since she'd last seen him. Other looks, less pensive and less guilty, indicated greater time spans, deeper seas of inattention, like, I didn't know whales were mammals. The greater the time spans, the blanker the look, the more dangerous the situation. It was as if guilt were luxurious It was as if guilt were a luxury she allowed herself only when the danger was minimal. How could he get out of the cart without my noticing? The three adults each stood at the head of the aisle and peered into the traffic of carts and gliding bodies. Then we did not then we did 3 more aisles, head set forward, weaving slightly as if we changed our sight lines. I kept seeing colored spots off to the right, but when I turned there was nothing there. I'd been seeing colored spots for years, but never so many, so so gaily animated. Murray saw Wilder in another woman's cart. The woman waved at Babette and her head and headed toward us. She lived on our street with a teenage daughter and an Asian baby, Chung Duck. Everyone referred to the baby by name, almost in a tone of proud proprietorship, but no one knew Chung before or where he or she had come from. Kleenex Sofaki, Kleenex Sofaki. Steffi was holding my hand in a way I'd come to realize over a period of time was not meant to be gently possessive. As I thought at first, but reassuring, I was a little astonished at my firm grip that would help me restore confidence in myself, keeping me from becoming resigned to whatever melancholy methods she thought she detected hovering about my person. Before Murray went to the express line, he invited us to dinner, a week from Saturday. You don't have to let me know till last minute. We'll be there, Babette said. I'm not preparing anything major, so just call beforehand and tell me if something else came up. You don't even have to call. If you don't show up, I'll know that something came up, and you couldn't let me know. Murray, we'll be there. Bring the kids. No. Great. But if you decide to bring them, no problem. I don't want you to feel like I'm holding you to something. Don't feel you've made an ironclad commitment. You'll show up or you won't. I have to eat anyway, so there's no major catastrophe if something comes up and you have to cancel. I just want to know I'll be there if you decide to drop down by with or without kids. We have until next May or June to do this thing, so there's no special mystique about a week from Saturday. Are you coming back next semester? I said. They want me to teach a course in the cinema of car crashes. Do it. I will. I rubbed against Babette in the checkout line. She backed into me and I reached around her and put my hands on her breast. She rotated her hips and nestled her hair and murmured, "Dirty blonde." People wrote checks. Tall boys bagged the merchandise. Not everyone spoke English at the cash terminals, or near the fruit bins and frozen foods, or out among the cars in the line. More and more I heard languages I could not identify, much less understand. Although the tall boys were American-born, and the checkout women were baddish and blue tunics, wearing stretched slacks and tiny white espadrilles, I tried to fit my hands into Babette's shirt, over her belly, and into Babette's skirt, over her belly, as the slowly moving line edged toward the last purchase point, the breath mints and nasal inhalers. It was one of the parking lots we heard the first of the rumors about a man dying during the inspection of the grade school, of the masked and the mutilated suitmen, heavy-booted and bulky. Collapsed and died, went to the story that was going around in a classroom on the second floor.